Good morning, it's March 2nd, and this is your daily brief in science. Here's everything you need to know. Roche and Genentech are advancing Fenebrutinib as a potential first high-efficacy oral BTK inhibitor that could treat both relapsing multiple sclerosis and primary progressive multiple sclerosis. In the FENhance-1 study, Fenebrutinib reduced the annualized relapse rate by about half compared with teriflunomide over roughly 3 years, and FENhance-2 showed a 59% reduction, supporting a consistent relapsing multiple sclerosis signal. In the FENtrepid trial for primary progressive multiple sclerosis, Fenebrutinib is studied against Ocrevus, illustrating the current treatment landscape for PPMS. Global MS numbers exceed 2.9 million, with relapsing MS making up about 85% of cases and PPMS about 15%. Ocrevus has been the only approved PPMS option previously. Genentech frames Fenebrutinib as a potentially transformative single oral therapy that could cover both RMS and PPMS, pending regulatory review. Safety signals in RMS arms included liver enzyme elevations similar to teriflunomide and asymptomatic Hyers law cases that resolved after stopping treatment. 8 fatalities occurred in Fenebrutinib arms and 1 in the teriflunomide arm, with ongoing analyses. Across RMS trials, Hyers law cases were asymptomatic and resolved after discontinuation, with no uptick beyond those initial instances. Fenebrutinib inhibits BTK via a non-covalent, CNS-penetrant mechanism designed to address B-cell and microglia biology, as well as progressive disease, while aiming to minimize off-target effects. Roche plans to present the full 3-study dataset at the American Academy of Neurology 2026 meeting and submit the combined data to regulators, signaling intent to seek broad approval. Secondary endpoints showed reductions in brain MRI lesions and favorable trends in disability progression, indicating activity on both relapsing and progressive MS biology. A University of Manchester-led study tracked about 2,600 people over 15 months using a smartphone app and GPS to map symptoms and local weather across 124 UK postcode areas. The study confirms a weather pain link and shows forecasts can predict tougher pain days, driven more by atmospheric pressure changes than by temperature. Higher humidity, lower pressure, and stronger winds were associated with more pain days, while temperature showed no direct link to pain. The research suggests the mechanism is likely atmospheric pressure changes, which can be anticipated in weather forecasts to flag higher pain days. Different arthritis types show distinct patterns. Rheumatoid arthritis often affects hand joints around the knuckles, while osteoarthritis more commonly targets knees and hips. Experts emphasize regular exercise as the most effective non-pharmacological approach to reducing arthritic pain, with personalization of activities for lasting benefit. Practical strategies for managing arthritis in cold weather include aiming for about 150 minutes of light to moderate exercise weekly, checking vitamin D, maintaining a healthy weight to reduce joint load, and staying warm with layers or heat sources. Cold and damp conditions can worsen symptoms for many, increasing pain sensitivity, reducing circulation, causing muscle spasms, and promoting stiffness, though effects vary by arthritis type and joints involved. Despite weather effects, exercise remains the single best intervention for arthritic pain, targeting strength and flexibility with roughly 150 minutes per week of activity. The study, referred to as Cloudy with a Chance of Pain, analyzed roughly 2,658 participants and found that atmospheric factors linked to weather, not temperature alone, influenced pain days. A new iron-based MOF nanoagent from Oregon State University shows promise in chemodynamic therapy by generating hydroxyl radicals and singlet oxygen inside tumor cells. The agent targets the acidic hydrogen peroxide-rich environment of tumors to induce reactive oxygen species that damage cancer components while aiming to spare healthy tissue. In preclinical mouse models, systemic administration achieved complete tumor regression in breast cancer without noticeable systemic toxicity. The approach increases oxidative stress beyond traditional CDT agents by catalytically producing both hydroxyl radicals and singlet oxygen within tumor cells. Across cancer cell lines, the nanoagent demonstrated strong anti-tumor activity with minimal harm to non-cancerous cells in early studies. In mice, researchers reported complete tumor eradication and no recurrence over the observation period, suggesting durable benefits in these initial results. The findings, published in Advanced Functional Materials, mark a notable step forward in CDT and cancer nanomedicine. Key contributors from OSU include Olena Taratula, Chao Wang, and colleagues, with NIH funding from the National Cancer Institute and NICHD. The study, led by Taratula, and Wang from the OSU College of Pharmacy, emphasizes advancing toward broader cancer types and eventual human trials. Next steps involve testing the nanoagent against additional cancers, such as pancreatic cancer, to assess broader applicability before moving into human trials. A new study shows the brain's reward systems keep responding to food cues even after people feel full, highlighting a neural pathway for overeating in food-rich environments. Researchers from the University of East Anglia and the University of Plymouth conducted EEG-based observations with more than 70 volunteers during a reward-learning task involving snacks. In the experiment, participants played a reward-learning game with tempting foods, and a meal was provided halfway through to induce fullness. The study found two main results. Devaluation in sensitive brain activity persists for images of food despite satiety, and reward signaling occurs independently of conscious self-control or goal-directed choices. This suggests automatic neural responses to food cues can drive eating even when individuals no longer desire the food. The findings were reported in Appetite and involve EEG measures taken during the task, with a broad participant pool of 76 volunteers overall. The researchers say these neural signals may have evolved in environments with scarce food, and are now maladaptive in modern settings with constant access to high-calorie snacks. They also note factors like hedonic compensation and distraction during meals could further reduce satisfaction and increase the drive for pleasure, contributing to overeating. The takeaway is that addressing environmental cues and learned behaviors could be crucial in tackling obesity, rather than focusing solely on discipline. A new study shows chronic muscle pain is driven by microglial CR3-dependent pruning in the DMPFC, reducing glutamatergic neuron activity and fueling ongoing pain and anxiety-like behaviors. In rats, activating DMPFC glutamatergic neurons lessens mechanical allodynia and anxiety, while inhibiting the DMPFC worsens pain, suggesting DMPFC excitation has a protective role. The DMPFC's activity shifts from early hyperactivity to chronic hypoactivity after about 2 weeks, with reduced glutamatergic signaling tied to higher pain and anxiety. Synaptic structure in CMP changes over time. Initial increases in synapses give way to decreases, and later stages show thinner PSDS, indicating remodeling and impaired DMPFC plasticity. Targeting microglial CR3-mediated pruning may restore DMPFC glutamatergic function and normalize pain circuitry, offering a potential therapeutic avenue for CMP and its effective components. CMP involves emotional comorbidity and central mechanisms, with the DMPFC central to effective pain processing through synaptic plasticity and glial interactions. The model uses gastrocnemius hypertonic saline in rats and combines optogenetics, chemogenetics, electrophysiology, imaging, single-cell sequencing, and behavioral assays to map DMPFC function and microglial involvement. Knockdown of microglial CR3 reverses synaptic plasticity deficits, restores excitatory activity, and attenuates both pain and emotional symptoms. The DMPFC interacts with the VLPAG and spinal dorsal horn, and activating DMPFC dampens spinal dorsal horn hyperexcitability via a DMPFC to VLPAG to SDH pain control pathway. This has been your daily brief in science. To read more about these stories, follow the links in the episode bio. You can also subscribe to these updates via email at www.brief.news. For more daily podcasts about the topics you love, visit brief.news/podcasts. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with everything you need to know.